Hey guys, today I have something very exciting to share with you. We're going to take a look at Anastasia Beverly Hills' new Iced Out highlighter. This highlighter, as the name implies, is white. There are a lot of golden shimmers, and you can see the embossing and grooves or waves on the compact. And I think this angle shows how beautiful this highlighter is. Like presentation wise, it's 100%. So beautiful. There was a lot of anticipation for this highlighter because the packaging and also suggested formula is very similar to the Anastasia and Amrezy collaboration highlighter from 2018. Everybody loved the Amrezy highlighter. I think for people who have been paying attention to makeup news and collecting makeup or really love highlighter, you guys have probably heard of the Amrezy highlighter. So this was highly anticipated because of that. There's also a huge amount of expectation. So the highlighter, as described on the website, is an all-skin tone flattering highlighter with the perfect combination of smooth finish and ultra beam effects for a lit within radiance. With the feel of second skin, this refined highlighter delivers a multi-dimensional wet effect shine with the high reflectivity of a liquid and the weightlessness of a powder. The iced out shade is universal and delivers buildable intensity, amplifying beautiful skin and taking you from subtle lumosity to a full icy strobing effect. Highlighter can be used to highlight anywhere on the face, body, eyes, and lips. So today we're going to use the highlighter on all areas of the face, obviously high points of the cheeks, tip of the nose, forehead, brow bone, inner corner, chin, to hopefully showcase to you guys the effect of this highlighter. I did try out the highlighter already last night when I got it in the mail, and I will say yes to, or check, lit within, check that wet shine effect, and check this is buildable. So you go from very natural looking to just strobing. And we will do comparisons across brands. I have a few highlighters here. There's nothing in my collection quite like this, but we can draw comparisons to what I think could be similar in terms of effect and or just aesthetics. For example, we have the Chantecaille Radiance Chic Cheek and Highlighter Duo. The embossing here reminds me of the ABH highlighter. The design aren't the same, but there's that really beautiful presentation about it. They remind me of each other. With the Chantecaille highlighter, obviously the colors are much warmer than ABH's Iced Out. Let's add some highlighter to the face. I'm going to use two brushes today. I just want to see the effect of it. I have here, this is from Sonia G's Sky Eye set. This is the mini cheek. I frequently do use this to apply highlight. And the other brush I have is from her holiday release. This is the Keyaki brush set. This brush is called the Classic Face. Classic Face being just fluffier and bigger in general, will cover more area. So I just want to see what that looks like when you apply it with different brushes. So we'll first go in with the one I usually use, which is the mini cheek, and I'm going to do that twice here. You can't really see how much product I got. I do think the formula is like a baked gelée powder. So with baked gelée, there isn't really any kick up, but you can still get a good amount of product and apply as normal. It typically has this very kind of nice wash of color effect. So you can see that there, and in comparison to this side without any highlight applied. I'm going to add a second application with the same brush. I do definitely see the effect of lit from within with two applications. And when I look at it on my, or from my vanity mirror, I can see the gold reflectivity much better. It is still a very cool highlight, Yeah, I think at this point it looks pretty natural. I'll go ahead and use the classic face to apply the highlight on the other side. So I expect a bigger area to be covered. So that's how the two look. I would say this is more subtle because I think this disperses or diffuses powders better. This is more of a concentrated application. So it's just all up to you for preference. I do think though, if I am planning to build up a highlight, so it has more of a strobing effect and it's way more noticeable, I would probably stick with this brush. So I'm gonna go back in and apply a third application to this side because I wanna see at what point will we get to strobing level. There it is. Oh yeah. There is the strobe. So one application with a fluffy brush and a very concentrated application with 3 here. Well, very nice. Let me just get some on the forehead. Yeah, I think that's really pretty. Some on the chin. Tip of the nose. And I'm going to use a smaller brush here. This is also from the Keyaki brush set. It's the flat definer. I'm going to add some to the Cupid's bow. Let's do the inner corners. And with a different brush, I'm going to add this to the brow bone as well. This brush is from Sonia G's Pro Eye set. It's called the Worker Pro. Now I'm going to add the highlight to this side of the face here because the end goal is I still want the two to match for the most part. So I'm actually going to go back in with the mini cheek. I do like the strobing effect, so we're going to apply a few layers here to get to the same level. And then for bridge of the nose, I'm just going to add some right here. And we'll make sure it's nicely spread out so it looks blended out. What do you guys think? I'm really impressed with this highlighter. Considering how much I put on for demonstration, I think it still looks fairly natural. You can tell there's highlight all over my face, but it's nothing like it's too much. On my cheeks, that's probably, 3 applications is not what I would wear for daytime, but it still just looks very complimentary. Yes, definitely lit within effect, and as you apply more, you get that shine, wet effect, and I feel like I am really strobing here on my cheeks, especially the cheeks, just really strobing. Yeah, it looks really natural. I love how it looks on the inner corners. And the eyeshadow I use today is Tom Ford's First Frost. So normally I would probably put this shade here on the inner corner and on the brow bone as well. The two actually does have some similarity to them. Different undertone. And this is the Tom Ford and this is the ABH. This Tom Ford has like a pink undertone, makes sense. This is a golden undertone and it still pairs really well. Why don't we go ahead with cross-brand comparisons? So when I think of a highlight that can give you a wet effect, a strobing effect, the first thing that comes to mind is Hourglass's ambient lighting metallic strobe highlighters. These three here are out of this world highlight. I'm going to swatch each one of them individually. So let me get a swatch first of the ABH Iced Out so we can have a good look. So this is Iced Out, and I'll swatch this one here. This one is called Absolute Strobe Light, Pure Strobe Light, and Lucent Strobe Light. So Absolute Strobe Light, Pure Strobe Light that has a gold undertone to it as well. ABH is warmer in comparison. Lucent, which is more of a beigey, has a slight tan tone to it. This one kind of blends into my skin because of that undertone. So when I look at the swatches like this, it's obvious the ABH one is much more glittery than Hourglass's, and Hourglass's is more powdery compared to the ABH. Like you can see from my swatch here, you know, these powders like the fallout. I think this could also be indicative that the ABH highlighter is going to just kind of stay in the areas you apply it. It's not gonna kind of spread. I find with the Hourglass highlighters, there is a bit of a tendency to spread depending on how much you put on and if you were able to get like a lot of the excess off on your brush before you apply it. So that's what I've noticed with the Hourglass. Now I really like the Hourglass highlights as well. It's strobing and wet effect, and it takes probably one good application, maybe two, to get to that point. So it's not really one for subtle highlight, although you could probably still wear it to work with one application. But once you go in for that second application, it is just metallic strobe. You know, as the name implies, you get a very dramatic effect quickly. So I would say that is the difference. It's the formulation and the level of intensity, being that the Hourglass one is more intense than ABH is. The Hourglass highlighter is made in Italy, and so is ABH. The shelf life on the ABH highlighter is 18 months. Speaking of highlights made in Italy, Chantecaille's Chic Cheek. This compact is also made in Italy, and while we're at it, let's swatch this highlight as well. It's a very soft highlight, has a gold tone to it. And the finish is more similar to ABH's because of that glitter. And the way that I think of this highlight, the effect that you get is it's like having light on your face, but in the most subtle way that complements your skin and highlights the best part of your skin. So in terms of impact, even if I were to apply multiple layers, it's not going to give me a really wet or strobing effect, unlike with Iced Out. And the third cross-brand comparison that I have in mind is Natasha Denona's Diamond and Blush Palette. This is Daria. There's not a single product in here that is like ABH, but you can achieve a strobing effect, a wet effect, or all of those things with a combination of these blushes. The undertone will be pink versus this very frosty golden undertone that we have, but it's similar in that you can really amp things up, and you could probably even go further because of this diamond powder. Yeah. What's really nice about this palette is you don't have to use all the products, so you can pick and choose. It's very flexible. If you've achieved the kind of glistening that you want, you can stop right there, or you can go all the way and start adding some of this diamond powder. 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, you become a disco ball eventually. So I still really like this palette. I haven't gone in as much recently, but if It's still available. It's probably still on sale at 50% off or more. In terms of just what you can do in the flexibility, I think in my collection, this palette is closest to this. And when it comes to the lit within effect, I would say the closest in my collection is the Chantecaille highlighter. Oh, by the way, the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush is also made in Italy. So I think they have really great highlighter formulations there, if nothing else. This is a great highlighter. I really like it, and I'm gonna keep it on my vanity because I wanna continue to use it. I think it'll be flattering for many different looks I'll be doing in different videos. Well, let me know what you guys think of this highlighter. If you already purchased it, or you're just looking for more reviews until you make a decision, or maybe you're just kind of on the fence because you're not much of a highlighter person. I would say the best thing about this is how versatile it is. You can get really high impact. Some people want the wet shine, but they don't want to be strobing, and you could get that from this with 2 swipes. Some people just want a lit from within, but a subtle highlight like this is not exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for a little bit more. The ABH one is that. Yeah, so really enjoy this. Thank you guys for watching. If you are not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, giving this video a thumbs up, ring the bell to get notified every time new content is released. See you in the next one. Bye.